Naveen sir, I have to do the introduction, no? Shubha Matthew here.
Good morning, one and all. Okay, am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Sir,
Okay, may I request Shubha Matthew, madam, to introduce?
good morning, everyone. It is my proud privilege to welcome Dr. Professor R.S.S. Mani sir on behalf of UGC, HRDC and HR College. Professor Mani sir is founding member of the ITM family and has been associated with ITM for the last 29 years. He is one of the pillars of ITM, Vice President International Development and Chief Mentor for all institutes, campuses across India. He is also an alumni of Tata Institute of Social Science, a gold medalist in MBA HR. He is an HR guru. He is a recipient of over 20 awards in the last decades for outstanding contribution to the cause of management education, career guidance, and for his contribution in the educating underprivileged, such as he has got Shakti Samaj Ratna Award, Bombay Chartered Accountant Society, NGO Anmol DBM felicitated him for his significant contribution to the education of the girl child, creating employment opportunity for marginalized women. Another feather in his cap is he is also recipient of uh, Pragarti Foundation award for Certificate of Excellence in 2019 to recognize his contribution towards education of girl child and his service towards emancipation of women in distress by making them employable. Further, he has bestowed the Best Teacher Award at the Teachers Day event in September 2019. He is respected as a mentor par excellence for his high degree of service orientation. He is founding trustee of the Higher Education Forum also. He is currently occupying the prestigious post of president of Bombay Management Association for the year 2020-21. Hello, sir. Welcome you to this
Namaste.
refresher course.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir. I must say that you're very prompt in accepting our invitation, and we really thank you, sir.
Most welcome, Naveen, anytime. And thank you, Dr. Shobha, for that generous introduction. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. Welcome to this learning session. I call it a learning session because I expect to learn a lot from all of you who are present in this room. After all, we are all in the same profession. I think the only reason that Naveen decided that I could speak to you is because of all the gray hair on my beard. And he was hoping that because of that, you all would listen to me out of politeness. Thanks, Naveen. It's always a pleasure to interact with you and HR College at different given points in time. And today's UGC course is yet another opportunity. I understand that there are people from all over India, so it's lovely to welcome all of you in a digital form to Mumbai. As they say, Mumbai mein aapka swagat hai, and I hope we have a good learning session. What I propose to do over the next 30 minutes is to share with you some of my views on the topic that has been given to me. And I'd like to devote the rest of the time for discussions because I believe as professionals, we need to remind each other of things we already know. We can't always be reinventing the wheel. We perhaps know a lot of things, but we have forgotten how to put it to practice. So with that framework, I'm going to share with you my perspectives for the first 30 minutes, after which I'll be happy to engage in a discussion with so many of you who are present here this morning for this UGC refresher course. The topic that we had decided I would focus my energies on was managing self in these adverse times. And I'd like to begin with the title itself. My firm belief is every adversity gives an opportunity. So don't look at adversity only as something negative. We all know that when we are pushed in a corner, we tend to fight back. That is normal human tendency. So every adversity provides an opportunity for doing something to come out of that adversity. And history has proved time and again that when we come back strong, we actually come back stronger. So that's the first note that I'd like to strike with everybody, that when we are talking about adversity, don't worry, it is an opportunity to grow stronger. And that brings me to the obvious next point. Whenever we talk about any development, I firmly believe all development begins with self-development. This is something that every one of us who is a teaching professional must internalize. I'm sure you've read this old Indian simple one-liner. Don't point fingers at people. Remember, 3 fingers are still pointed back towards you. Jitni bhi baar ye sun chuke hain, hum ise bhul jate hain. So let's remember, whenever we are talking about development, all development begins with self-development. And when I'm talking about self-development, my first formula is, it's as simple as ABC. And I repeat, all self-development is as simple as ABC. What do I mean by ABC? Which is fundamental to our entire learning right from the time we started in play school or in nursery. The first important thing to remember is A stands for attitude of gratitude. This, I believe, is the most important thing in our journey towards self-development. Attitude of gratitude. Why are we saying this? As we sit here post-pandemic, assuming that the pandemic has been well controlled, still a lot of fears in the minds of people, slow restarting of educational systems. Many of you from Maharashtra would have read the notification yesterday that we can begin classes with 50% of students. Where I'm coming from is, all of us, I think, first need to be grateful to God that we are in a position to attend a program like this, to get to interact with colleagues all over the country in a digital platform. Sometimes we take all this for granted. Similarly, we take for granted the impact that so many people have had on our lives over the last 30, 40, 50 years of our existence. So a good starting point is attitude of gratitude. And in attitude of gratitude, we say, always remember to acknowledge those who have made even the smallest impact in your lives at any given point in time. I wonder if you have read this story about a fighter pilot who was once dining at a restaurant, and someone came up to him and said, "Hey, aren't you Captain Armstrong?" He said, "Yes, I do. I am Captain Armstrong, but how do you know me? Have we met before?" This guy who came up to him and said, "My name is Mark, and I was the one during that war in which you had to eject from the aircraft. I had packed your parachute." So Captain Armstrong was stunned. He said, "I never knew that you were the one who packed my parachute, because I owe my life to you. That day during war, I had to eject out of the aircraft. And had you not packed my parachute perfectly, I wouldn't be here sitting and dining at this restaurant." And that set him thinking. Here is a man who selflessly continued to do his work of the highest quality, error-free. Can you imagine? Even if there was some error in the packing, Captain Armstrong would not be dining at that restaurant in one piece that he was. Let us remember, there are so many people who touch our lives whom we perhaps don't see. We don't even meet them, but always a silent appreciation, acknowledgement, gratitude can make so much of a difference to anybody's life. And I think that's the first step towards self-development. Someone had rightly said, the attitude of gratitude will determine your altitude. I'm just playing around with words, but I'm just trying to sequence them so that we have a nice little bouquet. The attitude of gratitude will determine your altitude. The next most important thing that we need to keep in mind is be positive. Now, why am I saying this? We as a group of people, notwithstanding age, community, religion, nationality, we generally tend to have a tendency to find fault with everything around us. We are not satisfied with the tax system. We are not satisfied with the retail markets. We are not satisfied with the way stock exchange jumps. We are not satisfied with the education system. I think we have got used to living by complaining. And here is where I'd like to reiterate. Try to look at things around us in as positive a manner as possible. Don't try to be part of the problem. Try to be part of the solution. And that's so very simple. If we are trying to say, if something is going wrong, what can I do to make it right? Of course, the most common thing that we love to do is to keep finding what is wrong. Someone had rightly said, human beings have a tendency to catch people doing something wrong. Why don't we catch people doing something right? And this is the approach that is build that approach of positivity around you. I've said this very jocularly. Your blood group might be A negative, O positive, AB negative, doesn't matter. But your life philosophy has to be positive. So just put those alphabets for yourself always, the alphabet B, the plus sign, and the positive as they would put when they even look at blood group in any report. So therefore, be positive is very, very important. I know that in Corona times, the word positive is very scary, but that is testing positive. Here I'm talking about being positive. And I hope you understand the difference between the two so that we continue this life philosophy, be positive. I wonder if you read this story about Einstein, who was always known to be a maverick, an eccentric. I believe he used to, in those days, go from country to country and talk about the theory of relativity. In those days, remember, we didn't have social media. We were not worried if WhatsApp was taking away all our information. We didn't have so much of the media explosion. So Einstein used to travel from place to place and try to share his theory of relativity. Einstein had only one person in his life, and that was his driver, cook, assistant, everything in one, what we will call the Man Friday. The story goes that once they ended up going to a very remote place in Africa, and there were people who were going to see Einstein for the first time in their lives and even hear him. So they went to the university. The session was to start the next day. Unfortunately, that night, Einstein had a little ailment and he lost his voice. In Hindi, you might say, unki bolti band ho gayi, but that was for a different reason. He lost his voice because of all the strain of travel, etc. He said, let's cancel the session. Immediately, his Man Friday said, sir, let's not do that. I have an idea. I have attended your session 22 times already. If you allow me, I will dress up as Einstein and deliver your lecture. After all, no one has seen you till date. Now, I know this sounds like a very funny suggestion, but then that's what Einstein was known for. He was a maverick. He was an eccentric. He was a person who said, kuch bhi ho jaye, I am not going to be beaten down. So you know what happened? Next day at the university, the driver dressed as Einstein and delivered the lecture. Einstein was sitting in the audience and just listening to him, hoping that things would go well. As it often says, things went on beautifully. Everybody loved the lecture. Standing ovation for the driver dressed as Einstein. Everybody said, fantastic. Einstein and the driver smiled at each other and said, chalo, baal bach gaye. And at the same time, people were happy. As it often happens in a classroom, and ladies and gentlemen, you'll remember, there is always somebody in the class or in the audience who wants to ask you a TEDA question. And the reason they want to ask you a TEDA question is to show off that they know more than you. Or, asking a question is very easy. Jawab dena mushkil hai. And therefore, there was somebody in the audience who raised his hands and said, Sir Einstein, it was a wonderful presentation, but I have a question. Now, again, all of us know as teachers, making a presentation which we have designed at home using PowerPoint slides is one side of the story. But when someone asks a tricky question, you just get stumped. Now imagine the driver standing on the stage, dressed as Einstein, and a difficult question comes to him. He looked for a minute, not knowing what to do. Had a sip of water like I just did now, looked at that person who asked the question and said, I'm sorry, sir. The question you asked is so stupid. My driver sitting in the audience can answer that question. And ladies and gentlemen, all of us know who the driver sitting in the audience was. And what saved the day? The attitude of being positive, not giving up. This is often said, are you in a position to think on your feet? When can we think on our feet? When we are in a positive frame of reference. When we believe that we will be part of the solution and not part of the problem. When we believe that everything may not be hunky-dory around us, but what can I do one step to make the world a better place? And therefore, I reiterate, be positive is the second fundamental aspect of self-development. And what is the C? For me, C is character. Now I know words like integrity, character, honesty are very difficult to discuss. There are no formulas. There are no definitions. You could interpret it the way you want. But having said that, I follow a very simple philosophy. Character is what you do when nobody is watching. That is character. Character is something that I internalize as part of my day-to-day behavior, whether it be colleagues, family, bosses. I wonder if you have read something called Management by Cutlery Set. That means you use the chamcha for your bosses, you use the fork to push people down below you, and you use the knife to stab your colleagues behind their back. Now, let me give you a word of warning. Management by Cutlery Set is not to be used. I'm saying, can I show that sense of true character? And this is something which we need to internalize. And this is not something which you can learn in a classroom or a textbook. You can be refreshed by reading books by so many people who define what is character. But I think that is something, I repeat, which you have to internalize. I wonder if you've read this story of a Buddhist monk. Two of them were going on a long journey, and at some stage they had to cross a river. Now I'm told that Buddhist monks follow a very, very austere life. They are not supposed to be distracted by the riches. They are not supposed to be distracted by luxury. They are not even supposed to be distracted by women. This is how the story reads. I believe at a particular point, as they were about to cross a river, they found a lady who was struggling because she had an injury in her leg. And she requested the monks, can you help me cross the river? One of the monks turned around and said, don't you know we are Buddhists? We will not be able to help you because we cannot touch a woman. Of course, he was very factual about his religion or his belief. The other monk stood for a minute, pondered for a second. After that, he picked up that lady and took her across the river, while the first monk kept cursing him, telling him that you have broken the religion, you have become impure, and so on and so on. After reaching the other side, the second monk deposited the women at a safe place, and both the monks continued on their journey. Unfortunately, the first monk kept on cursing his colleague, his friend, for the next 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, till evening. At some stage, the second monk got fed up. He stopped for a second and said, "My dear friend, you know what's very amusing? I left that lady behind on the banks of the river where I dropped her because she needed help. You have carried her till here. Now tell me, who is pure in thinking, you or me?" And I think this defines character. It's in the mind. It's not what you say, it's what you do. And if you're consistent in what you say and what you do, I think that is the best reflection of character. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to set the tone of something very fundamental. All development begins with self-development. And in the route towards self-development, the 3 key factors are the attitude of gratitude, being positive, and displaying that sense of character. Why is all this so important? Because I believe when you and me are in the teaching fraternity, we are looked upon as role models. We are looked upon as people who are to inspire not only our students, but please remember, we are inspiring a generation. When you and me are in the classroom, most of us are teaching students who are at least 15 years younger than us. Many of them are at the age of our own children. And therefore, we are not looking at teaching them physics, philosophy, or psychology, or financial management. We are actually teaching them how to be a good human being. And the best way to do that is by demonstration. And that is where we say that we are role models. Let us also remember the role of a teacher has changed ever since Professor Google came into existence. I'm sure all of us remember that at that stage, when Google was becoming so popular, everybody started getting worried. What will happen to the teacher? Sab kuch to Google mein mil jata hai. Agreed. But let's remember, Google gives only information. It is the teacher who distills that information and converts it into knowledge. And I think this is the strong distinction between Google and a teacher. So let there be as much of Google, it doesn't worry me about at all, not even one bit, because all that information is leading to more confusion. And the one person who can move you from confusion to clarity is the teacher, the professor. So let's remember, the role of the teacher has changed. When I was in school, the teacher and the textbook were the gospel truth. I'm sure some of you will remember even your children coming and telling you, no, I won't do this. Teacher told me not to do it. As if teacher was above mother and father. But then that's the way it was. Teacher and textbook was the gospel truth. Today, of course, to a great extent, the younger generation have also realized, though they depend on Google, they know that there can be 2 sides to the same coin. And therefore, our role is that of clarifier, doubt solver, converting the information to knowledge. So it doesn't worry me one bit that Google is available. In fact, it makes my life more easy. Because today I don't have to feed the child with information. It's already available. I have to help him convert that information into useful knowledge. So our role has changed, and I think it has changed for the better. And if still some of you are a little anxious about all that is happening in the digital learning space, some of us are wondering, there are so many videos, there are so many learning platforms, there are so many free learning tools which are available, lectures, demo sessions. Let all of them be there, doesn't worry. In fact, I say this and I love saying this. Technology might bring in 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, but it can never replace the Guruji. So don't worry at all Even if you have an iota of doubt about, Are hamara kya hoga? Nothing. We are all in safe areas as long as we commit to our own self-development. Let's remember, today the challenge is we have to learn faster than the students that we are teaching. Not for a reason of ego, but for the reason that we will become outdated. I wonder how many of you remember in college, did you have the guts to ask a question to a teacher? Inevitably, the teacher at the end of the lecture will say, any questions? No, I think no. Okay, all right, thank you. And she'll walk out. When I have attended training sessions as a student, as an executive, the normal standard line was, thank you very much for your attention. I'm sure intelligent people like you have no questions. See you next week. Now, this is how the questioning approach was entirely eliminated from our mind. Questions were seen as a challenge to authority. Questions were seen as, "Tu mujhe sawal pooch raha hai? What the hell do you think you know more than me?" Times have changed, and I'm so glad they've changed for the better. Because today, inevitably, as I have planned for today, we have to be better equipped to be tackling questions. That is the best way to learn when we are talking about adult learning. We don't have to run through slide after slide, PowerPoint after PowerPoint. I'm sure all of us have experienced what I call death by PowerPoint. Wo zamana fortunately is coming to a little lesser extent now. Today, when faculty teach at the degree college level or the higher education beyond at the master's level, we are looking at teaching through PowerPoint, videos, discussion. Whether it is physical or digital, or it is going to be phygital as predicted the way ahead, a combination of physical and digital. And here is where we need to realize that we as teachers have to keep on unlearning, learning, and relearning. Because unless we do that, we cannot inspire the students to do that. And let's remember, today with that overdose of information that the student has, there could be very often a situation that he has a lot of good questions for which you don't have answers. Again, it's not a matter of ego. It's a matter of our role. We are expected to be knowledge accumulators, knowledge interpreters, and knowledge clarifiers. That is the role of the teacher. We are not salesmen selling soap or a mobile phone. We are not a portal which is trying to be like Amazon and push things you don't want by attractive advertisements. Our job is entirely to manage the knowledge portion in anybody's life. So KQ or knowledge quotient is something we need to focus upon. And therefore, I'd like to emphasize our role has changed. Let us try to change our teaching style, our learning style to ensure that we become more of a clarifier and help the student in their learning journey to learn more applicable things, practical things. You know, we've always had this debate about how should our primary education should be, our college education, higher education. I've always had a very simple belief. In primary education, we need to teach the children how to learn. I repeat, we need to teach the children how to learn. But inevitably, we are only trying to teach them through rote learning. A for apple, B for ball, C for cat. I think one fine day, some child will come and tell us that A for Android could be, right? The world is changing around us. B for blockchain, and so on and so on. I can go on endlessly. So let's remember, we need to teach children how to learn, step one. Step two, when they move to secondary, we need to teach them how to apply what they learned. When we talk about physics, we talk about vernier caliper, how to use the vernier caliper, how to actually perform a chemical experiment, how to dissect a frog. So you teach in the secondary education, how to apply what you learned. And my strong belief is in the college level, we need to teach the children how to ask questions, to clarify, not how to ask questions to trouble the teacher. You know, I still remember this in college and I'm guilty of doing it myself. We used to always find one or two questions which we felt कि teacher को जवाब मालूम नहीं होगा. And we used to sit and enjoy that he or she couldn't answer the question. And at the end of the class, you would feel like a hero. I'm sorry, if I now think about it, I felt like a zero because my objective there was not to learn, but my objective there was to confirm that somebody else knows lesser than me. Not that I knew the answer. You know, we always tell students who go for interviews, don't get scared of the interviewer because सवाल पूछना बहुत आसान है, जवाब देना मुश्किल है. Doesn't matter if you don't know the answer. Still, develop a positive bent of mind, have a right attitude, and I'm still sure you can impress the interviewer. So here is where we were talking about how we as role models, our roles have changed. The expectations that students have from us have changed. The expectations that the education system has also changed. And therefore, somewhere we need to keep unlearning, learning, and relearning to ensure that we are able to cope up with the changing times. To come to the third main point which I want to discuss, and that is, today, geography is history. And I'm sure you've learned this already in the digital revolution that India has seen over the last 10 months. What digitization we might have expected will happen in 10 years has perhaps happened in 10 months. That's why we are on the digital platform on Zoom across India. And that's why so many of you are taking classes online for the last couple of months. The most interesting thing here is this brings in the entire learning universe into our living room. I think this work from home is a funny word. I think we are living at work. I look at it the other way around. We are working all the time. There are no timelines. There are no Saturday, Sundays. You still get a call at 9 o'clock and you're supposed to answer it. You can't say I'm busy in the kitchen. World has changed. And I don't think this is a change for the better, this particular aspect where home and office has become synonymous. Therefore, I said, I don't know we are working from home or living at work. It's something we need to really introspect and think about. In the process, the whole world has become a global village, as they say. But let us not forget one thing. How much ever we talk about globalization, there is also something called localization. In a country like India, what is true in Rajasthan may not be valid in Tamil Nadu. What is valid in Tamil Nadu may not be appropriate for Assam. And I'm not saying this to divide the states. I'm saying it, every state has its own culture. Apne apne sanskar alag hain. And therefore, the entire approach towards education is also different. You might come across some states where they give a lot of emphasis on sports. In some other states, they give a lot of emphasis on fine arts and music. What if ultimately we are looking at developing the overall personality? And here is where I want to just reiterate, let us follow a global approach. Think global, act local. Think global, act local. Everything that some country is doing may not be appropriate for India. But if you like the idea, see how you can adapt it to suit your local needs. Therefore, the correct word is adapt. Don't adopt. Adopt is cut, copy, paste, which is what Google has taught us and students so effectively. Cut, copy, paste is adopt. I'm saying adapt. Get inspired by what someone else is doing. What's happening globally can inspire you, but adapt it to local conditions. And that is what I call a global approach. And this is something we need to inspire in our students. Because going ahead, digital learning is here to stay in some form or the other. And here is where, by default, a very, very important role comes to us. As teachers who are looking at not only managing ourselves, so that we can manage the entire generation of students, we all need to understand the importance of career guidance and career counseling. Not for a minute am I saying that every one of you sitting in this room has to become a career guidance expert. But all I'm suggesting is, let us be realistic about careers. Let us understand today that the world has changed so much that certain careers are going to be eliminated over a period of time, and certain new careers will come into shape. How many of us 20 years ago, our life's main aspiration was to have a Kodak camera, Minolta, Nokia, Canon, almost disappeared from the market, except for the professional photographers. Today, when my child wants to buy a mobile phone, he's more worried about how much megapixel is there in the front camera and the back camera. He's not worried about anything else in the phone. And I think all of us know, we perhaps take more pictures on the mobile phone than we use it for talking. I feel the mobile phone is used by us everywhere except in the washrooms. And that's the way life has changed. Before a meal, you want to take a photograph, you want to put it on Instagram, you want everybody to know what you're eating. And unless 10 people say that, wow, what a fantastic dish you made, you're going to feel very miserable at the end of the day. Forgetting so much that the people in your family who enjoyed the dish were the main people you should be worried about. So you're more worried about your virtual friends, not your real friends. Anyway, that's not the topic of my discussion. But where I'm coming from is, change will hit us faster than we expected. How many of us in our childhood, our dream was to buy a Sony Walkman? I don't know if some of you still have it as part of a museum piece in your house. We wanted to have an Apple iPod. Gaya, everything is gone. And therefore, I repeat, we need to remember that in this changing world, we need to be able to ensure that we are aware about the entire career lifespan. Teachers will be needed. Guruji will never be replaced, but an outdated Guruji, I think, will be a problem. An outdated Guruji will be like Nokia 5110. If you remember, that was the most popular Nokia model ever sold in the world. I have one, which I said I'll keep it as a museum piece to show my grandchildren when they arrive, that this was what a mobile phone used to be. Do you remember the MTNL phones, those who were in Bombay, or BSNL phones? In Bombay, we used to say MTNL means Mera telephone nahi lagta, MTNL. But I have one telephone instrument which I want to show the future generation. And here is where I'm coming to. Career guidance is a role we have to assume, because students look up to us as role models. Students look up to us as guidance. We hold a very, very high position in their respect quotient. So please be aware about careers. And even if you are not aware about careers, please don't continue to have those rigid views about careers. I'm sorry I'm making this statement because I still come across a lot of teachers, and I'm quite sure they're not in this Zoom meeting, but wherever I have met them elsewhere, I hear things like, and I quote, bright children do science, average children do commerce, dumbos do arts. I'm sorry. In Bombay, getting an art seat in a good college is tougher than getting a science seat in a good college. And many of you will agree with me on this, being teachers in the college segment. I'm fed up of listening from people even today. Arey wo to ladki hi hai, let her do arts. Anyway, she has to get married. What is the use of becoming a doctor? Sad. We are living in the 21st century, but I think still many people, their thoughts are in the 19th century. And it is you and me who have to assume responsibility to help people change this mindset. I'm very passionate about this area because I've been doing career guidance for the last 30 years. And I follow one method which I would urge you to do. Don't discuss careers with students, discuss careers with parents. I think students are more literate than parents in this area. So I don't do a single career guidance session without the parents being present. And so many of them are shocked at that idea. आप हमसे क्या बात करेंगे? Tell our children. And inevitably the child goes home after the counseling, after 2 weeks says, sir, no use, my parents have forced me to do science. I actually want to become a chartered accountant. And that's the end of the story. It's not that movies like Three Idiots are exaggerated. A lot of it is pretty true. Of course, in a filmy style so that we enjoy it a little more. But having said that, I'd like to pinpoint that as teachers in different institutions all over the country, let us take responsibility about the importance of career guidance. Let us take responsibility to encourage the student to be more aware about careers. Let us try to have career seminars in our respective colleges. It's not that you know or you don't know. Sometimes you need to be reminded about things you know, was something which I said right in the beginning. And with this digital platform, it becomes so very easy. You can have a career seminar, 300 students can attend. You can call a software engineer from TCS to talk for half an hour. Call someone from Sun Pharma to talk about the pharmaceutical industry. Call someone from Taj Hotels to talk about the hotel industry. And call someone from the shipping industry to talk about what it is to become a merchant navy sailor. Children get a complete perspective, then let them decide. Let them not say that, you know, my friends are doing science, I'll do science. This often leads to what we call herd mentality. This leads to broken careers. This leads to depression. And this leads to all those news items we read where children are frustrated and attempt suicide or get into depression, go into drugs, alcohol, etc., etc. That's the absolute extreme end. But I still thought I must highlight this, that career guidance is something in today's world we have to resume responsibility for, because students look up to us as not only teachers, but they look up to us as guides for their lives, as guides for their careers. And before I wrap up and throw the session open for questions, as I promised, we all hear so much about the fact that there is a digital divide in India. India is a country where there is huge gap between the haves and the have-nots. And here is where I have a very simple suggestion. We all need to try to do our best to help others. And the statement that I'm making is so very simple. But to make it a little more jargonistic, we all hear of something called CSR, corporate social responsibility. I'm talking of something more fundamental, individual social responsibility. Let's concentrate on ISR, individual social responsibility. Through the pandemic, every one of us has demonstrated that we have reached out and tried to help someone around us in our locality, in our neighborhood, in our village, anywhere that was possible. Please don't stop after the pandemic stops. Get this as a way of life. I'm sometimes amused when I meet a lot of executives who tell me, after I retire at 60, I'm going to do social work. Why wait till 60? Why not do it now, today, when the world needs you? It's sometimes very sad that when you have all the power and the position, you don't want to help anybody. And then when you don't have the power and position and you try to help somebody, no one perhaps sees the value, the need, or perhaps you are burnt out. Today you're in a position to help people, please help. 10 years later, you might need the help from somebody. And it is rightly said that the good you do always comes back to you. Please don't for a minute think that you're attending a session on, preaching or religion or dharma. All I'm saying is we have to imbibe this as part of our daily life processes. Have a very simple formula. You become successful by helping others become successful. But that's something which we don't learn early in our lives. Haven't you come across students who score 98.6%? The parents are overjoyed. They distribute sweets to all the teachers. 2 days later, the same parent comes back to you and says, we are all very depressed. You say, what happened? 98.6% आपका मिठाई का डब्बा अभी भी हम लोग खा रहे घर पे हैं. He says, my neighbor, his daughter got 98.8%. So instead of celebrating 98.6%, you have organized a condolence meeting for losing 0.2%. I think this is the tragedy in our system. We don't believe that we can be successful when others are successful. We believe that I succeed means you have to fail. And therefore, we are all waiting to see who is failing. Like I said before, who is doing wrong. Let's change our thinking approach to something very simple, which I already said. Can I become successful by helping others become successful? And you don't have to do this by saying, I want to donate so many lakhs to charity. Nothing. Just look around. There may be one person who needs your help today. And that help that you do today can impact that person's life throughout. It can have a tremendous emphasis on his entire life and the entire career and his family. So I reiterate, individual social responsibility. Let us make an approach that if I want to manage self in these adverse times, I look at various aspects which I discussed. But I'd like to conclude by saying, can I develop this temperament that I would become successful by helping others become successful? On that note, I'd like to take a pause. Thank you very much for a very patient listening. I'll be happy to spend the remaining half an hour to 40 minutes, as much as time permits, trying to listen to some of your views, learn from them, and also answer any questions that you might have or listen to your experiences. May I request you to please unmute, speak up. It'll be good to see you on video when you speak. Thank you very much.
Sure, sir. The participants have the.
Thank you so much, sir.
Go ahead, Rahul, sir.
Maybe it'll be a good idea. You can use the reactions to just raise your hand or, so that everybody can speak at the same time. Go ahead.
Hello, sir. Thank you very much for your excellent session. This is Shubhangi from PD Karkhanis College, Ambernath. Sir, I wanted to ask you, you rightly said, discuss the career with parents, but not with only students. I would like to share one simple experience, a small experience. One of my student from TY BCom, he was very, very good in photography. Excellent skills he had in photography. But when I asked him to pursue career in future in the same line, same field, he said, no, ma'am, my parents are making me study MPSC, do MPSC and all, you do it. I told him that, can I speak to your parents? I may try to convince them, or but he said, no, ma'am, please don't do that. And finally, that student is attending now MPSC. So please, sir, what do you say in such kind of situations?
I understand. It is a very difficult situation to handle. I would still think that you should make an effort to reach the parents. I know sometimes we feel it is none of our business because, ultimately our job begins when the student enters the classroom and our job ends when he leaves the classroom. But someday or the other, the child will regret, and someday or the other, child might end up getting frustrated. Now, it may be difficult to pinpoint a child. Maybe the child is so scared that the parents will say, Why did you go and tell ghar ki baat to the teacher,
Yes, sir.
etc., etc. So maybe at a broader level, if this college can make an effort to have some kind of a career seminar, invite all parents and try to innocently bring this point up for discussion. That could be perhaps the only way of doing it without hurting the child, because the child has confided you in confidence. You have to keep the trust of the child and not betray the trust. So that's where your position becomes very, very difficult. I understand what you're saying.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
See, on a generic note, I don't know which colleges you all come from, but I'd like to strongly suggest to every college teacher present, please make a request to your college management that they must hold a career seminar for students at the beginning of 11th standard and at the end of 12th standard. At the beginning of 11th standard, to make them aware about what are the careers so that the child can think about it over the next 2 years. And at the end of 12th standard, somewhere towards the end, before they get into prelims and their holidays, so that the child can refresh the memory as to, okay, I was interested in digital media. I think I should do the BMM course from Mumbai University. It's a good foundation for digital media, for example. Or I would like to work in the field of banking and insurance. So doing a BBI from Mumbai University is a good option. So if we can draw that connection between the dreams in 11th standard to the action plan in 12th standard, it can do a lot of benefit to the students. So I would urge all colleges, I'm sure many of you are doing it. I'm not assuming you're not, but in case you're not, please take this up as one of the suggestions and learnings from this refresher course.
Sir, the college in which I'm working now, that is in rural area. Like the students were coming from really laborers' family. Their mothers are doing household and household maids work, and they are managing. This is how they are supporting their studies. So many a times we all teachers, I have paid their fees since 8 to 10 years. We are paying fees of such students. All our teachers are contributing every year some amount for Vidyarthi Kalyan Nidhi, Vidyarthi Sahayata Nidhi, and this is how we are encouraging them. Yes, you come and take education. So
Right.
we are the college. We are not providing the meritorious students education opportunity, but those who are with the 2-3 mark sheets, they are coming from, and this is how they are grappling the studies. So we are helping them. So will you please help us, sir, holding such kind of campus
Sure.
or career guidance workshop?
Absolutely. So Shubhangi,
Thank
I
you,
want
sir.
to
Thank
first
you, sir. I will
compliment
definitely
you.
contact you.
I must compliment you on the wonderful efforts that you
Thank
are
you, sir.
doing.
Thank
And a little later on, I will post my contact details in the chat box, so all of you can make a note of it, those who are interested
Yeah.
in staying connected.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Not
Yes,
only doing the career seminar, but I can connect you with a lot of NGOs who will help you fund education of underprivileged children.
Okay, sir.
So you can reach across to me. This is a wonderful effort that you all are doing. I'll be happy to help.
Yes.
Continue doing
Thank
the
you
good
so
work.
much.
Help will come. Don't worry at all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I see Shenaz raised her hand. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, most of us teach in the degree section, I believe, like all my fellow mates. The thing is, sir, that already they have made a choice. Like when they are in degree, they have made a choice that I want to do BAF or I want to do BMS. Okay, and it is because of that what you call the herd mentality. All
Correct.
my friends are doing BAF, so I want to do BAF. Okay, and in the second year or maybe in the first year itself, they realize, oh, this is not my cup of tea. Okay, I have chosen the wrong course. Okay, and it's really, I mean, how to guide them further? Like, if you are not interested, like, I just took BAF because my best friend was taking the same.
Or my girlfriend.
So this herd mentality, yeah. So all my friends are going and whatever the thing is. So now at degree level, how to, guide
Sure.
them even further, because we are not connected with them in junior college. So
I-
how to do it in the degree section?
Fair. Good question. Just
You
a
could highlight.
Yeah, I would certainly. A humble request, those who are not speaking, just keep yourself on mute. Otherwise, when the questions are asked, I'm getting a little distracted. All right, Shena, that's a wonderful question. And that's where I mentioned somewhere before. Career guidance should be seen as an ongoing activity. So these are my milestones. if I go one step backward, we say start the career guidance process in the 9th standard. I know you're not a school crowd, but I'm just saying this because you might have children who are in school in a higher level. We say start the career guidance in the 9th standard vacation before they get into the 10th, because that is when the herd mentality begins. Should I go to coaching class? Which coaching class? Should I go to NEET class? Should I go to JEE class? Should I go to NATA class? That's how it begins. So one milestone is there. Second, I already mentioned 11th standard beginning, 12th standard ending. Now assume your college has a junior college and a degree college, then this transition becomes a little easy. Suppose they don't. I would urge that even when the students enter college, in the first 15 days of college, have a career guidance seminar on what are careers after BMS, BBI, BAF, BMM, and whatever such courses you have, BSc IT, BSc Computer Science, everything. Have some speakers talking to them about the career options available there. After which, the students can, of course, be encouraged to ask questions and what you may. The one other thing which you have to check in your own college is, let us say a student joins BAF and after 3 months wants to transfer to BMS. Is it possible? Is there a time gap provided for transfer across streams? Now this policy might vary across universities, this policy might vary across colleges, but it could at least be a starting point to guide the student. God forbid, a student after 3 months doesn't want to do BAF and there is no transfer policy. I would still urge the child to move on to the course of his or her choice by losing the year, because losing that 1 year is a better choice towards career foundation than doing a BAF for 3 years and not wanting to pursue career in that area. So these are some decisions which we need to keep reminding the child, that it's a balance between losing 1 year of your life or using your whole life in doing something you would not enjoy to do. So I would strongly recommend, please do a seminar in the first year, in the first fortnight itself, so that students get a little more educated about the career options. And once again here, I'd like to say, please use digital, because now everybody has got used to digital for this particular one, because call someone from a IDBI bank, call someone from a Taj hotel, call someone from wherever, so that they get the realistic picture about the career options. This is my suggestion.
Thank
Can the next question? Anyone?
Go ahead. I can see Samrat.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Samrat, sir, you can unmute yourself.
Hello. Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I don't have any particular question, but just want to express that from last 9 to 10 months, we all teachers are attending different workshops, different online courses. And in that, what we try to, some resource person share the screen and we try to connect that screen to the speaker to that screen. But in your case, first time we got that feel that we are talking to human on the screen. We for some time we forgot that we are on screen. We were directly communicating to you, and in very simple manner you were telling each and everything which were going back of our mind. For example, nowadays many online courses are going on, so many teachers are afraid that whether the teacher's job will gone or not. Though especially your quote, I remember that whether it will be 4G or 5G, Guruji will be there. So thanks for encouraging us at this stage. That's it, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Most welcome, Samrat. And I must reiterate this for whatever it is worth. If you haven't identified it from the gray hair on my beard, I have been teaching for the last 35 years and I have enjoyed every minute of it. I've never been worried about what will happen if things change around us. But yes, I certainly said, when there are new techniques, there are new skills, we should be the first ones to learn, because we can't expect anybody else to learn unless we do it ourselves. You know, there's a beautiful line in management which says, do you walk the talk? Jo kehte ho, wo karte ho kya? So if you walk the talk, then there's no problem. You can always inspire. Otherwise, what happens is, I don't practice what I
Yes, ma'am,
preach.
yeah.
And therefore, people lose their respect for me. People say, ye bolta hai, karta nahi hai. And therefore, walk the talk is something very, very simple. I believe that as long as we continue to do our job passionately, there should be no worry. I know that many years ago, many years ago, we were told that if you want a comfortable job, join a bank or join a school, because you work half day, then the rest of the half day is yourself. But now you're seeing the scenario in 2021. We are living at work, which is what I told you. And bank employees were asked to work even during the lockdown. Every one of us knows that, even physically. Therefore, zamana badal gaya hai. As long as we enjoy what we are doing, I think we are in good shape. Thank you, Samrat, for what you said, and all the very best.
Yes, thank you so much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have been told by
Yes.
Naveen that you are not allowed to wind off before 1:10. So ya to mera shakal dekhte raho ya continue to ask questions. Yeah, I heard a voice. Go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Myself,
Hello,
Aarti Verma.
Yes, please.
Sir, actually, I work with P.N. Doshi Women's College, Ghatkapur, as is Girls College. And I'm just sharing it, the issue what we face. Actually, I am the placement in charge for BCom. And we come across students, that is girl students, when doing with career counseling. Some students face the issue of discrimination at their family.
Correct.
So we explain them what you have the talent and everything. So usse aap aage badh sakte ho. Why you are so disappointed by the issues that is being faced by you at the family. That what you rightly said, attitude of gratitude. वो कंसेप्ट हम उनको एक्सप्लेन करते हैं, समझाना चाहते हैं, बट वो बच्चे समझते नहीं हैं. एंड मेनी टाइम्स वी फेस द प्रॉब्लम कि स्टूडेंट्स drop out. They don't even pursue their graduation. They don't complete their graduation. So we feel very bad for such students कि हम इतना कोशिश करने के बाद भी उनके जो फैमिली इश्यूज होते हैं तो उसके वजह से वो कंटिन्यू नहीं कर पाते हैं. बट हम उनको बताना चाहते हैं कि भाई आप में वो टैलेंट है, कैलिबर है, आप कर सकते हो. एंड बट देन this we try to convey the message of attitude of gratitude what you told, but then we somewhere lack about it. So that is what is we face that issue.
All right. I think you're being very humble. You're doing a lot of good work. Don't really feel that you're not doing enough. The fact of the matter is, I think you have to target the parents, as I said somewhere before. And the best time to target the parents is in the first 15 days of college. I strongly believe when the student enters college, they are very, very moldable. They are very flexible. They are very adjusting. They come with a lot of anxieties. As the student grows older in the college, the student becomes more difficult to handle. Just think about it. Your own experiences will reveal what I just said. When they come in the first 15 days, tell them that ours is a special college. We have a parent-teacher-student meeting within the first fortnight of starting the college. And in that, have a 1-hour session on career guidance. And I'm making this submission to any one of you. If you would like me to come and talk to parents digitally, I am ready to offer my time. Because I very strongly believe that the parents need to be educated more than children to have successful careers. And no offense to anybody, even an educated parent very often is not literate enough about careers. An electronics engineer believes that there is no better profession. A software expert believes that there is no better profession. But the child says, I want to be a fashion designer, and then there is hell at home. So I'd urge all of you, try to start having more interaction with the parents. Please don't feel कि PTA meeting सिर्फ school में होता है. I'm sorry, I think there should be more PTA meetings in college, because handling the current generation is a challenge even parents are facing, but they won't admit it. You are at least admitting it as students. And therefore, if both of us get together, the parent and the teacher, who actually are the two groups of people who do influence the lives of the student, I'm sure a lot of solutions will come in. I must share with you that I have had experiences where in certain communities, and I don't want to get into naming them, women are not allowed to build careers. I have gone and addressed the parents. I have gone and addressed the parents in places of worship. I'm talking of this about 10 years ago, not even now, so that the parents can be convinced. And I believe even if 10% of the parents change, we have made a fantastic beginning. But as I said somewhere else, we have to go beyond our role as teachers of BMS and physics and mathematics and accounts and psychology. We have to become teachers who are making the lives of our students. We need to do this extra bit for them. And remember, many of you I can see on the screen will have children in college. So what good you're doing for your students, somebody will do a similar good for your children who are there in another college. Because this has to become a part of the entire curriculum of colleges. Many of them are doing it. I appreciate it. But I'm still anxious that the parents are not involved as part of this process. And I know many parents are too busy. They can give a car, they can give a credit card, they can pay the fees, they can do the donation, but they can't give time for their children. You're dealing with some parents like this also. But no harm in trying. As I said, even if 10% impact is felt, we should have great success and satisfaction. Continue, please.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Myself Rimpi from Shri Guru Gobind Singh College, Chandigarh.
Okay.
Sir, मेरे mind में question चल रहा था, but आपने उसका answer अभी दे दिया. So, but I want to discuss one thing with you. There is a problem in cooperation or coordination between the parents and kids, or kids and teachers and parents. Basically, it is a chain. We every year we call parents teacher meeting in our college, but there is a problem. Many of the parents never turn. आते नहीं है वो meeting में. Or when we call them, they answer that if we will not go to our jobs, then who will pay their fee, and how we will run our homes. So these are the basic problems, and the time related, the question related to time is again answer same. They said that we don't have time, much time to spend with our kids because we have to go to our jobs and we have to earn our hard money to run the house and to give them good education and all. This is the major problem, because many parents come to us and they discuss that कि हम कभी बात करते भी हैं तो बच्चे हमारी बात मानते नहीं हैं, और बच्चे जब हमसे बात करते हैं तो वो कहते हैं जब हम पेरेंट्स से बात करते हैं and they never agree with us. और ये जो problem है, it is a major problem in today's life, and sometimes we don't know the answer and we are not able to को कैसे इस तरीके से दोनों को आपस में मतलब एग्री कराया जाए, वो चीज sometimes we are not able to understand.
आपने बिल्कुल सही बात कहा है, and I repeat what I said. Parents, students and faculty तीनों को एक बार साथ में लाना होगा. Parents, students, faculty. ये सिर्फ एक बार नहीं, ये एक हमको एक परंपरा कायम करनी है. भले सब पेरेंट्स नहीं आए, अगर आपने इस पहले मीटिंग में जो पेरेंट्स, टीचर्स और स्टूडेंट्स के साथ हम करेंगे, 20 भी पेरेंट्स आए, 30 पेरेंट्स आए, वो पेरेंट्स दूसरे पेरेंट्स को जाके बताएंगे कि इस मीटिंग में क्या हुआ. और ये जो हम हर्ड मेंटालिटी कहते हैं ना, वो फॉर अ चेंज विल हैपन पॉजिटिवली. लोगों को महसूस होने लगेगा कि हम उस मीटिंग में नहीं गए, हमारी गलती थी, हमारे बच्चों के भविष्य के बारे में काफी अच्छी बातचीत हुई थी उस मीटिंग में, करियर गाइडेंस की डिस्कशंस हुई थी उस मीटिंग में। इस वजह से अगले मीटिंग से वो जरूर आएंगे। मैं मानता हूँ ये थोड़ा कठिन काम है, लेकिन मैं ये मानता हूँ शुरुआत करेंगे तो जरूर हम कामयाब होंगे। द फैक्ट ऑफ द मैटर इज वी आर ऑलवेज वरिड what could be the negative outcomes. Let's change our thinking. Even if 10 children bring their parents out of 100, it's a fantastic beginning. And I would think at least for a couple of months, because we are still on physical and digital, then vacation will come. Please use the next 3 to 4 months to reach the parents digitally. This could be an easy way for the school and college. It will be not at all cumbersome. You don't have to block the auditorium. You don't have to arrange for any big hospitality. You just have to give in the login time and get the people involved. So while I understand the problem, my suggestion is start somewhere. Don't be worried about the outcomes. Positive outcomes will come once we start the activity with 100% enthusiasm. तो ये आप कोशिश कीजिए, मैं मानता हूँ आप जरूर कामयाब हो जाएंगे।
मेरा भी एक क्वेश्चन है सर। शंभू दयाल मीणा दौसा राजस्थान से। आई रिक्वेस्ट अधिकतर डिग्री कॉलेजों में बच्चे एडमिशन ले लेते हैं, उसके बाद में समस्या ये आती है कि बच्चे कॉलेज में कम आते हैं और कोचिंग संस्थाओं से जुड़ जाते हैं, रेगुलर अटेंडेंस में काफी दिक्कतें आती है। और आप जो मीटिंग बता रहे हैं, पेरेंट्स भी अधिकतर क्या है कि रोजगार से जुड़े हुए हैं, तो वो भी क्या है कि आने के लिए वो भी फुल टाइम नहीं दे पाते। यदि एक भी दिन 1 घंटे भी आ जाता है तो उनका पूरा दिन भर का रोजगार छूट जाता है। तो इस प्रकार की समस्याएं वर्तमान में आ रही है। बच्चे भी नहीं आते पर्याप्त मात्रा में और वो कोचिंग संस्थान में ज्यादा पसंद करते हैं। डिग्री कॉलेज में जैसे एडमिशन लेते हैं उनको जॉब चाहिए जैसे तैसे भी।
मैं मानता हूँ ये एक समस्या है हमारे देश में। शायद इसके 2 दिशाएं में हम सोच सकते हैं। इंग्लिश में एक कहावत है, स्टूडेंट्स लव टू लर्न बट आर हेट टू बी टॉट। एंड आई रिपीट, स्टूडेंट्स लव टू लर्न बट आर दे हेट टू बी टॉट। यानी बच्चों को पढ़ने का शौक है, लेकिन वो ये नहीं चाहते हैं कि कोई उनको पढ़ाए। So I think the difference is in the approach to teaching. अगर बच्चे कोचिंग क्लासेस में जा रहे हैं तो शायद वो मानते हैं कि उनको कॉलेज में अच्छी तरह से नहीं पढ़ाते हैं। अब मैं इस विषय में डिस्कस नहीं करना चाहता हूँ, ये आप जाने और आपकी कॉलेज में क्या हो रहा है। बट अगर हमारे टीचर्स काबिल हैं और अगर हमारे टीचर्स अच्छे से पढ़ाएं तो मैं मानता हूं कि बच्चे कोचिंग क्लास में नहीं जाएंगे। क्योंकि आप जो कह रहे हैं ना, इनके पेरेंट्स को अगर एक दिन भी छुट्टी दे दिए तो पगार चला जाएगा, तो मैं मानता हूं कि ये लोग ऐसे घरों से नहीं आते हैं जहां पे खूब पैसा है, वो पैसे का मूल्य जानते हैं। तो जबकि अगर बहुत अच्छी क्वालिटी टीचिंग उनको कॉलेज में मिल जाए तो वो शायद नहीं जाएंगे। ये बदलाव धीरे धीरे होगा, इसके लिए हम सबको कोशिश करनी पड़ेगी। और जैसा आपके दोस्तों ने बताया था, ये हर्ड मेंटालिटी वाली बात हो जाती है। उसके बच्चा क्लास जा रहा है, मेरा बच्चा नहीं जा रहा है, उसकी बेटी उस क्लास में जा रही है, मेरी बेटी कम वाले क्लास में जा रही है। तो ये सब जो कठिनाइयां हैं हमें झेलना पड़ेगा। ये जो हम बदलाव चाहते हैं वो धीरे धीरे ही होगा, क्योंकि सिस्टम इतना बिगड़ चुका है और हम भी ये मानते हैं आजकल कि सिस्टम इतना बिगड़ चुका है कि हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते। मैं मानता हूं हमको हमारी सोच बदलनी है कि सिस्टम बिगड़ चुका है। मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि सिस्टम को कैसे बदलूं। आई विल बी द चेंज दैट आई वांट टू ब्रिंग अबाउट। कोटिंग महात्मा गांधी, बी द चेंज यू वांट टू सी इन द वर्ल्ड। डोंट बी अ पार्ट ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम, ट्राई टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ द सॉल्यूशन। मैं मानता हूं 1.5 घंटे आपके साथ बातचीत करना काफी आसान है। पूरे 1.5 साल आपके कॉलेज में जो आप कठिनाइयां महसूस कर रहे हैं उसको झेलना आसान नहीं है। लेकिन अगर हर व्यक्ति कहे कि मैं कठिनाई का हल नहीं निकाल सकता हूं तो कठिनाई रहते जाएगी। वी हैव टू डिटर्मिन आवरसेल्व्स that we will find a solution and not be stuck with the problem. This is what I would suggest. आप जरूर कोशिश कीजिएगा, जैसा मैंने कहा, धीरे धीरे even a small change can help a great extent. आज 4 बच्चे क्लासेस जाना बंद करेंगे, कल 40 बच्चे बंद करेंगे. मुझे क्लासेस के साथ कोई शिकायत नहीं है, ये अपनी अपनी इंटरेस्ट है, अपनी अपनी अफोर्डेबिलिटी है. लेकिन कॉलेज में आने से अगर स्टूडेंट को लगे उससे ज़रूर कोई फ़ायदा हो रहा है, सीखने को मिल रहा है, करियर डेवलपमेंट मिल रहा है, वो एंजॉय कर रहा है, अपनी पर्सनालिटी डेवलप कर रहा है, then I think college will be a preferred place that students would love to go to. Some people are asking me for my contact details. I've already shared it in the chat box, so you can pick it up from there by scrolling up. What else?
So this is Sangam Kohli from Guru Nanak College. Sir, I wanted to ask how to deal with the how to counsel physically challenged students, because whenever we wanted to deal with them, we directly go into sympathy phase. So how to deal, sir?
All right. I think when you're dealing with physically challenged children or mentally challenged children, it would be good to have an expert psychological counselor who has a specialization in clinical psychology. Because you and me are not trained to deal with the emotional aspects of helping these challenged children. A lot of these challenged children, because of our society, already have lost their confidence, their self-motivation. They feel very low about themselves in many a situation. So you need that little bit of expert psychological advice. Please take the advice of an expert psychological counselor. You can counsel on the education, on the subject knowledge, etc. But take their help to make the child feel better. But yes, we can always say this one thing to children, and this is true for you and me also. Don't allow anybody to make you feel inferior. And I quote a wonderful motivational speaker. His name is Zig Ziglar. You can read about him online, Zig Ziglar. You know what he said? No one can make you feel inferior without your permission. No one can make you feel inferior without your permission. If someone tells you you are useless, till you accept it, you won't be useless. It's like saying, if someone says you're useless, just show them a mirror or say same to you, thank you, show the mirror and leave it at that. अक्सर ये होता है, आईना सच बताती है. And therefore, I agree with you that sometimes we end up in a situation where we're dealing with children who are low on self-esteem, who are low on confidence, who are feeling very, very upset. Use psychological counseling with an expert, and I'm sure they will turn around to be much, much better. Sometimes I keep referring to films because some of them are done with a very strong message. A lovely example would be Tare Zameen Par, and I'm sure most of us have seen that and understand how that transition happened because of confidence building more than anything else. Go ahead, please. I wonder if some of the women are worried that they have to now get into the kitchen and cook lunch for their families who are working from home. And the men are wondering,
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Are the men wondering,
Sir, good afternoon,
kya pak raha hai? Yeah, good afternoon.
Sir, Manivannan, sir, from Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
After COVID situation, I am discussed with my students. Some of the students doing this auto driving, some of the students working in shops for sales skills and sales students, etc. But the 15% of the total students from hills areas, they are knowingly, unknowingly doing some, for example, how I say, that means the sandalwoods, you know very well about the sandalwoods.
Correct, correct.
Some of the agents to be meet the girl student and forced to the students to, that is means, for example, to take some sandalwood and put it in the handbag and hand over to some persons before reaching the colleges. this is to be happened during this COVID situation. We are to advise the students. We are to be convinced, but they are not accept. During the times they are to accept it. After, they are going to be doing the same things knowingly, unknowingly, whether it is a criminal offense, but they are not. How I deal and how I to explain the students, what the government to be explain it, because the student to said, we need the money, we need to survive in the hill station and the rural areas, and also they need the money for maintaining the family purpose.
Correct.
That the purpose they are to be doing. So what we are to be advised, please, sir.
Oh yes. So Manivannan, where are you from? Somewhere in the hill station, Ooty or Kodaikanal?
Yeah, no, sir. In this Ulundurpet, Tamil Nadu, Viluppuram district, Ulundurpet and Kallakurichi. Yeah, this is for the hill station in Kalurayan Hills.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I think what you have brought on is a social issue which is affecting society at large.
Yes,
that easy money is available by doing illegal activities. It could be trading in sandalwood,
Yes,
it could be trading in other commodities which are banned, and it's easy money. So I look at two solutions, though it's not easy to implement. One is, it's not the school's responsibility, but we should try to see if the parents get employment. If the parents are employed, then the chances of the child getting into all this activity is reduced. What you should do is connect with some local associations or NGOs, say Rotary Club, Lions Club, or talk to some NGOs which are trying to help people find jobs after the COVID situation. So when you help the parent, you are helping the family. The chances of the child then getting into stealing are reduced. This is suggestion 1. Suggestion 2, please talk to some retired people, retired from the police or from the government agencies, who can come and talk to the students in the class about the fact that all these are illegal practices and tomorrow they will ruin their life. Why I said retired is, if you go to the police, etc., it might create an uncomfortable situation for everybody today. So in a bit to solve the problem, in a bit to guide the students onto a good life, you should try to take some help from the retired people who are ready to serve the cause. You know, we always say, don't punish the criminal, help the crime to be killed. Yeah? So here I'm saying, this is a good way to remove the crime, not to remove the criminal. Then the criminal will be reformed and will continue. And this is a juvenile crime because you're saying the child is quite young. So this could be two approaches you should try. Take help from people in society, take help from associations and NGOs, and continue to counsel the children. This is a passing phase. After the entire vaccination program is complete, people will get back to full employment. There is so much of provisions in the budget for increased skilling. I'm sure we'll see better times, but this is a very delicate situation. I'm sure that you are facing a lot of anxiety because of this, but try some of these methods and I'm sure you will succeed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Well, Naveen, how are we on time? If
I think, sir, we have just about finished our time, sir. If you want to take more questions, I leave it up to you, sir.
I'm fine. I always believe in starting on time and closing on time. You know, there's a
So
nice.
I think then, sir,
yeah, I must say this to teachers.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, Naveen, I'll take 1 minute more. You know, there's a beautiful quotation which says, as teachers and people who talk, who lecture, who preach, you must always remember one thing, and that is, don't worry if people are looking at their watches when you speak. I repeat, don't worry if people are looking at their watches when you speak, but start getting worried if they remove their watches and start shaking them to check if they have stopped working. So as long as you and me as teachers don't end up in situations like that. I think we should be happy with the profession we are in. This is a very unique profession. I hope none of you have any second thoughts about being here. If you do, please get rid of them, because unless you enjoy what you're doing, your students will not enjoy what you are doing for them. And therefore, enjoy what you're doing, do your best. And if I can help anybody at any given point in time, you're most welcome to reach me. Thank you very much, everybody. Touch you, Naveen, for inviting me, and thank you, the entire team who has been in touch with me to bring me to this program. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. We cannot appreciate more, sir. Thank you so much for all the help. I really appreciate you being so forthcoming. I remember that we made a call to you and you were like, yes, of course, we'll do it. So thank you so much, sir. May I request Feroz Khan ji to propose the formal vote of thanks, please? Yes, sir, you're audible, sir, but your voice is cracking a bit, sir.
Yes, sir. I, Feroz Khan, on behalf of UGC HRDC and India College of Commerce and Economics, thank you, Professor R.S. Mani, sir, for giving an excellent coverage to managing self-effective during adverse time. Thank you, sir. I also thank to the organizing committee for the support, vision, and commitment. Last but not least, I thank you.
I think we've lost him.
I think, yeah, the network connection.
So, sir, I'll take.
I think Samrat is saying something. Go ahead.
Rahul sir, should I take the opportunity?
Yes, sir. Why not?
Yes, sir. Mani sir, thank you so much on behalf of the HRDC, University of Mumbai, on behalf of HR College, and on behalf of our team. I thank you so much that you have engaged this session very well, because as I said earlier also, we were very struggling with the slides and the speaker, but today we got that feel that we are communicating with human to human, and whatever thoughts are in back of our mind, same thoughts you expressed here, and also the solution, and also to overcome on that. And you encouraged us in very positively manner, sir. Nothing, a single point was negative in our talk. So we are very much motivated and looking forward to take our job whenever we resume to our duty. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.